Hi, stay tuned to today's Cooking Crave show for some great side dish recipes for any meal. Hi, I'm Rhonda Fitterer.
And I'm Laverne.
And on today's Cooking Crave, we got 3 great side dish recipes. Works great with any meal.
Absolutely.
Which one do you want to start with?
Well, we're going to start with a broccoli cheese rice casserole that was given to me by my sister Jo from Williston quite a few years ago. This has been a favorite at Thanksgiving meals. I like it just when you have a ham and you're baking that. You need something to go with it because sometimes you don't always have, you're just making a ham. This broccoli rice goes perfect with that. So
great.
We'll start on, come on over here, and gonna put the burner on here. We're gonna start with a stick of butter, and we're gonna saute a medium-sized onion.
Okay.
And you have a bag of broccoli florets there. And we're just gonna get that in here. And just chop the onions. And when I'm sauteing onions, I usually just cut the onions with a knife, because if I put them in, this chopper that I have with a blade, they get too fine, and then they're too much liquid in there. So I find if you just chop your onions with a knife, that's the best.
Okay.
And I'm starting out with a big enough casserole here to saute all this in, because from here I'll be able to add the rice and the cheese and everything, and I won't have to, make another pan dirty.
Okay.
And that's always good. So we're going to add just a bag of broccoli florets here. And this here is just, your regular size bag that you get in the grocery store. I believe that's 14 ounces. And if you don't, if you have fresh broccoli, you can certainly use fresh broccoli too, just to cut that up if you have some that needs to be used. But, sometimes you don't always have fresh, and nothing. God bless you. Is it the onions? Okay, we've got our broccoli and onion sauteed here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a half a cup of milk.
Okay.
And then a can of cream of chicken soup. So put that in there.
And this is a recipe that, like you said, you've been making for years, and all the kids like it. It's an easy dish that it goes over well with any age.
Yeah. And the thing is, even if you don't like broccoli, it's amazing. You will like this this casserole. I think the cheese, all the cheese you add in there, and the soup, it pretty much kind of camouflages the broccoli, but you're getting the benefits of a, good vegetable there.
Right.
So we have that there. Now we're going to add, actually the recipe had said a jar of Cheese Whiz. I don't ever use Cheese Whiz. I just take some Velveeta cheese, and I use about probably a fourth off of a 2-pound box of Velveeta cheese. I just cut it into slices and add it here.
Okay.
And I think you'll find that Cheese Whiz is saltier too, and you don't need to make this saltier than, or any recipe. I find that your Velveeta cheese just melts very nicely and takes care of that the same as Cheese Whiz. But you surely could use Cheese Whiz if that's something you like to do.
That might be faster, but like you said, Velveeta melts very nicely.
Doesn't take very long at all. Okay, so it didn't take very long for the Velveeta cheese. It's just about all melted. Then we're going to add, you can use 1.5 to 2 cups of cooked rice. And I always just use minute rice. And I usually use the 2 cups because, you know, there's plenty of sauce in here that the 2 cups just is about right, and it doesn't make it too dry.
Okay.
So like I said, I've already had that cooked, so I can add that in here. Like I said, I started with a big enough casserole here, so it'll work, and then we can just pop that in the oven right from here.
And once we have this all mixed up and we pop it in the oven, how long does it have to bake?
You know, it'll bake in about 30 minutes. You can probably, and it needs to be, a lot of times, you know, when I'm making this for a holiday or whatever, I might prepare it the day before. So then it's cold, and you might want to give it just a few more minutes.
Okay.
But when you're making it here or right off the stove and it's nice and hot, you know, 30 minutes is pretty much all that it takes.
Okay.
Turn this burner down here.
All right.
And you know what's nice with this, you know, you have rice and you have broccoli, so you have, you know, your starch, which is the rice, and then your vegetable already, so it makes really a complete side dish.
Well, and it's filling too.
Yes, it really does that. Okay, I just kind of scraped off the sides here so when it's baking it doesn't burn on there. So as you can see, that's all it takes. It doesn't take very long to put this one together. And now we'll just put it in the oven, and I have it at like 350 degrees. So we'll just add that in here. Now, one of the other side dishes I'm going to make is glazed carrots.
Okay.
And that is really quite simple too here. You want to start with a fairly nice big, you know, saucepan.
Okay.
And you just use your baby carrots. And of course, if you have your own carrots and you want to cut them up, you know, that'll work just great too. It's nothing like fresh carrots from a garden, but we don't always have that luxury of having it. So
right, when it's in the summertime you might, but now wintertime not so much.
So I just put that in there. We're going to add a cup of water. I'm going to just turn the burner up. 2 tablespoons of brown sugar.
Okay.
And like I said, that helps for the glaze. And 1.5 teaspoons of seasoned salt. And it asks for a tablespoon of olive oil.
Okay.
And this doesn't take very long to cook up. Once this comes to a boil, we'll just turn that down and let that simmer. And if you find that maybe once the liquid is you know, all absorbed into the carrots and it's not maybe the carrots aren't done as much as you'd like, just add a little bit more water and go just a little bit longer.
Okay.
And then 2 tablespoons of butter. So when that heats up, the butter will melt, and that just kind of helps, you know, with that glaze. And 1.5 teaspoons of your Dijon's mustard. And I do find that this mustard definitely adds a better flavor than your regular golden mustard, you know, your yellow mustard that you use. But it's definitely a little bit more expensive, but you know, if you use it mostly for your baking or cooking needs like this,
it does go a long way.
It'll go a long ways.
Okay.
So as this is going to start to simmer, we're going to start with, I have a Rotini crab salad that is excellent. So this here will take a little bit, but we do want to stir it pretty frequently so that it doesn't, you know, scorch on.
Okay. So I'll keep an eye on that.
Okay, so let's come on over here. And what I did was I cooked, it was 8 ounces of rotini noodles. And one of the secrets to a good macaroni salad, or whenever you're using a macaroni, no matter what shape or form it is, you know, when you cook it, you rinse it well with cold water or drain it and put it in the fridge, you know, for a couple hours or even overnight. A good cold pasta will make your salad just that much better.
Oh, okay. Nice tip.
Okay, it asks for 1 to 1 1¼ cup of ranch dressing. Okay. And I just have, I like to mix my own ranch dressing. So this is a homemade ranch dressing mix, but you can use any bottled dressing. It's not, that's all that it asks for. And then it asks for just a 1/4 cup of, in fact, I believe this is a 1/3 cup of mayonnaise or mayo. I like the mayo because it just has a little bit more kick to it than Miracle Whip does. And a 1/2 teaspoon Italian seasoning mix.
Okay.
And what's nice with this, I can have the shaker and then I can really blend that well. And that will be our dressing.
So a little bit of preparing on this, you know, making your noodles maybe the night before. This could be a really quick salad to make.
It goes quite quickly, yes. So that. And we're going to use, I chopped a 1/2 cup of celery and a 1/2 cup of green onions.
Okay.
And that, so we're going to add that. And it says a pound of crab, you know, cut up. So I just took, you know, your imitation crab and just cut that up and into bite-sized pieces. And this recipe too says 1/4 pound cheddar cheese, you know, cubed. It is just so much easier using your shredded cheddar cheese. If you want to, you know, cube yours and, you know, cheddar cheese, that's fine. But I like the shredded.
It's easier and it's already done for you.
That's right. And then it asks for like 2 medium tomatoes cut up, or you can use cherry tomatoes. And these are grape tomatoes, and I chose the grape tomatoes because they're a little smaller. And one thing when you're using a regular tomato, you know, it's going to be a little bit juicier. So if you have some salad left over, you know, if you use like grape tomatoes or cherry tomatoes, it won't get as juicy or runny, the dressing. So I just like that better.
Sure.
And it just adds nice color to it. The cherry tomatoes would be a little bit bigger than this, and for that I would still half them. But it wouldn't be quite as juicy as you would have cutting up a big tomato.
Okay.
But I think in the summertime when you have your own homegrown tomatoes, I don't care. I would use my own homegrown tomatoes. And I started with a cup of ranch dressing here. And if you find that, you know, we need a little bit more, we can add more. But again, as it sets, it will marinate a little bit more, and you find that that dressing goes a long ways.
Okay.
I hear those carrots bubbling, so let's just go over here and check that. Okay, well, it's got a ways to go yet, but we just want to make sure we keep a good eye on them.
Yep, so like you said, they don't scorch.
Yeah. And if you use a Teflon base pan too, that always works a little bit better than a stainless steel. But again, it's just a matter of preference. You know, you have what you get used to and what you're comfortable working with.
Right.
Okay, and so now this is need to mix that up.
And this makes a nice size salad too.
It does. And it says 8 ounces of rotini noodles. If you have a few more noodles, or if you have a 10-ounce box, just go for it. It's the, you know, you can make sure then that you maybe use your 1 1/4 cups dressing versus just maybe a cup.
Okay.
And that, but it really, once you get it mixed and with those tomatoes in there and stuff, it makes a very pretty salad.
Now, I've bought in the rotini noodles before that are the different, you know, like they have the spinach and the regular noodles and all of that. Now, would you recommend that for a salad like this?
It'd be a nice variation, and it would just add more color. Doesn't, you know, you have that colored rotini, but it doesn't really change the flavoring of your salad and that. So, like I said, and it looks like we're going to have plenty of dressing here. So, because you also have that 1/3 cup mayo in there, and that certainly adds to that. So.
Sure.
And you just leave that, you know, set and marinate a little bit. It's good to make it maybe a couple of hours before you're going to serve it, just so that, you know, the seasoning and all that blends in together.
Now, this is a salad bean. You didn't cut up the tomatoes, though. Would be nice for leftovers. You put it in the fridge. It's not going to get real juicy on you. You could have it for several days in the fridge and
absolutely
have that.
This one, you know, keeps. You know, I find keeps really well. I've had it for several days, and it still was very good. So it's not something that, you know, sometimes you have a lettuce salad that the lettuce wilts up and it, you really pretty much have to use it the day you make it.
Right.
This, you can keep it a couple of extra days.
Okay.
Because it does make a pretty good salad, and if you're doing it just for your family, maybe you don't need that much like that. So we have that done.
Okay.
And let's just go back over here and check our carrots again. Okay. It's really cooking up quite nicely. Still has a little ways to go to get the water all absorbed yet, so we'll just give that about, I would say maybe about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, now just look at the glaze on those carrots.
That smells good too.
That looks good. It's just a nice variation just to having, you know, your regular corn or peas or whatever.
Sure.
Or even cooked carrots. It just, like I said, that glaze just is really, really good. So we're going to I'm going to turn the burner off because that's about done.
Okay.
And just leave it set there. And I think our broccoli rice should be about done, and we'll just show that and feature how that is.
All right.
Okay, we'll bring that over here. Oh, just look at that nice bubbly cheese. And that, we'll just put some out on a plate here and just show you how good that looks.
And again, this is a dish that any age likes. It's a really good dish.
Okay, so, and we're going to add a little bit of glazed carrots to that
Okay.
dish. And with these carrots, you certainly can add a little bit of pepper and salt on there if you wish. And it asks just to kind of garnish them with a little bit of chives, you know, so you can add that on there. But if you don't like onion, you surely don't need to do that.
Okay.
And I think just to top that off would be just, like I said, I love this with ham. Just a nice big slice of ham, and so there we go. Don't you think that looks like a feast for a king?
That's a complete meal.
It definitely is.
Okay.
So I'm going to just set this back over here to the stove. And I featured, you know, our rotini crab salad. And to me, this is just even nice just for a lunch. I don't even need anything extra with this.
Sure.
But again, it's a great salad. side salad or all on its own.
So again, we have our Rotini crab salad and broccoli rice dish submitted by Aunt Jo.
That's right.
And Joe Hayden, and we have glazed carrots, like you said, great for any meal.
Yes. I mean, like I said, I love it with ham, but you know, you can do it with fried chicken, pork chops, name it.
You name it, we got it. All right, to get these recipes, please go to Consolidated's website, www.ctctel.com, and please submit your recipes so we can cook them for you. Thank you also to our sponsor, The Workshop, and have a great day.